Hey guys, it's Brigitte with San Diego Seed Company, and today's video is going to be about what to plant in May in zone 9 and 10. Now, if you've watched our April video, actually funny enough, I have the board here, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna change the name on our board. You wanna know why? Because what you plant in May in zone 9 and 10 is really a rinse and repeat of what you plant in April. And that's because all of these crops listed on this board here like the warmer temperatures of April and May. And really the biggest thing here, May. Boom, look at that, that was easy. The biggest thing to remember about transitioning from April to May when you're planting in the spring is that as you get further into the spring months and then into summer, everything gets a tad bit harder in zone 9 and 10 because it's warmer. We're not going to have any rain. The soil is likely to be more dried out. And when you go to transplant your babies, they're more likely to have transplant shock just because of the warmer temperatures. So all of these plants can be planted just like in April, but you have to take more time and more care to transplant out into soil that's amply moist, that's not a word, that is sufficiently moist, and make sure you use something like Sluggo Plus to protect them. Okay, so if you didn't watch our April video, let's do a quick little review of what you can plant in May, looking at this exact same board. What's important to remember about May is that the average temperatures are very warm, and they're getting warmer. Nighttime temperatures are warmer, daytime temperature, soil temperature is warmer, which means it's very easy to direct sow a lot of these crops here. Now, as the temperature gets warmer, it means seeds will germinate quicker, but it also means it's harder for you to keep soil amply is not a word, I keep saying that. It's important to keep your soil sufficiently moist the whole time the seed is germinating. So you might need to turn up your irrigation, or if you're hand watering, you might need to water more often than you think to keep the soil moist the whole time. So beans, corn, cucumbers, melons, squash, and pumpkins. What these all have in common is they're large seed. So they're very easy to direct sow. And since they're so big, they can bust through the soil relatively easily. They're strong, they have a lot of vigor, and they can kind of fight off most of the things that will come and attack them in the soil when they're relatively small. You still want to protect them, but traditionally these are direct sown crops because they do really well direct sowing and they grow easily. Now, in May, you also have time to transplant out, or, you'll see that's very important, I put or, you also still have time to seed start. I don't want to hear people going, I missed the season, I'm so behind. You're not behind, it's fine. I mean, you're a little late, but that's okay. It's California, nobody shows up on time. Trust me, I know that. But you still have time to seed start if you have it. So you can either transplant by buying transplants from your local nursery or from other growers. You also can transplant out maybe stuff you started last month, or you can start seeds of things like eggplant, peppers, and tomatoes. You'll notice that if you started these earlier in the season, maybe you started them in March or April, they germinated very slowly and they grew slowly. That was because of the temperature. Now that it's a lot warmer, you're going to see your eggplants, your peppers, and your tomatoes are going to germinate pretty quickly and grow much quicker than they did in the previous months. And funny enough, mom brain, there is something missing on here, and it's right in front of me. It's tomatillos. You can kind of clump them together with tomatoes, tomatillos, tomatoes, very similar. These can also be either seed started or transplanted out in the month of May. Another very popular one that's missing on here is herbs like basil. So basil loves warm temperatures and can be planted all throughout the spring and the summertime, and is a really good complement to your garden, both to bring in pollinators and also makes a really nice batch of summer pesto. So when you're planting in May or any month in zone 9 and 10, don't forget about flowers. Trust me, I was a gardener that for a while for many, many years, I was like, if I can't eat it, I don't want it. Well, you actually can eat calendula, so that easily made it into my garden. But I'm very much on this journey to understand flowers and growing flowers in zone 9 and 10. And one of the easiest flowers for starting if you're a new gardener is calendula. Look how beautiful this is. It loves zone 9 and 10. It reseeds easily. The flowers are edible. You can also make some really amazing medicinal products with Calendula. So this is a really easy, beautiful to grow flower. And then another favorite that a lot of people love is zinnias. And you'll see I didn't even have enough room on here. I put "and so much more," which you'll have to check out our calendar because we do list exhaustively all of the crops that you can plant in this month. I can't fit it on here, but let's look at our zinnias. We've got some planted right here. Look at these beautiful little babies. So we have these planted, and what's important to remember is as the temperatures get warmer, when you plant your transplants out, you really got to watch the watering. I don't want these to wilt at any point. I want to make sure I'm watering frequently so that they adjust to their new home. And the other thing you'll notice too, you see these little white granular pieces on there? I applied some Sluggo Plus. You can see it down here, because that helps to prevent leaf-eating crawling insects that can crawl over my zinnias and just mow them down. Now these are relatively big and strong and sturdy, so a pill bug or a slug isn't likely to eat this whole thing and destroy it. But as a preventative measure, anytime you're putting out tender young transplants into your garden, a quick application of Sluggo Plus is always beneficial. Yeah, you want to be in the videos all the time. Okay, so another pro tip for you, especially if you're a beginning gardener and really a novice gardener or even a more advanced one as well. If you're having issues transplanting out your babies in the spring, or it's particularly warm season, shade cloth is always your friend. It will really take your growing to a next level because you can have a little bit of added protection by allowing your crops to adjust in their new home while not being beaten by the hot noonday sun and really wilting them prematurely. When you do get shade cloth, you really want to make sure it's an agricultural shade cloth like the product we sell, and it's 40%. We have tons of videos about shade cloth, and if you're struggling planting things out or you're in a higher elevation in zone 9 and 10 where it gets a lot hotter, or the desert, check out shade cloth. It will revolutionize your spring planting. Now, all of the information I covered here is really particular to zone 9 and 10 because that's where we farm, that's where we grow, and those are the gardeners I really want to help. So if you are gardening in zone 9 and 10 and you need a little help in your garden, make sure you like and subscribe so that we can be a part of your growing journey and we can help you make less mistakes and have a bigger, more beautiful garden. All right, so a quick overview. If you have scrolled to the end of the video, I don't blame you. Let's get to the point. In May, in zone 9 and 10, you're in full planting mode. The average warmer temperatures allows you to easily direct sow beans, corn, cucumbers, melons, squash, and pumpkins. Those are all large seeded crops. You also have plenty of time to transplant and still seed start your eggplants, your peppers, your tomatoes, and not listed on here, but your tomatillos as well. Basil is another really good one. And please do not forget about the flowers. It is a very long list of things that we can grow here in zone 9 and 10 in the spring. Make sure you get our calendar, which exhaustively lists all the flowers that you can grow in May.